Hello and welcome to the CIA Corner here on Tap TV. My name is Obed Jerry, your co-host for today. And you know what we do here? We make commentaries, in-depth analysis on topical issues making rounds on the papers and Nigeria and even the world at large. You out there can also be a part of this show. Do well to subscribe, turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms so that you receive our notifications if you are here to do all of this. And yes, if you say anything here and you have a counter opinion or you have anything to add to it, please do not hesitate to slide to our comment section and drop your comment. Of course, we'd like to hear from you. And looking into the story for today, we could see that just 1 year since the general presidential election in 2023, that the country is facing so many crises here and there, the financial crisis and even economic crisis. So due to all of this, the presidency, the government and all other ministries are implementing activities and taking decisions for the betterment of the country, decisions that will make look for ways to incur profits and generate income for the betterment of the country. We could see that first the president removed subsidy, saying that we know that while subsidy the country was subsidizing the price of petrol to as low as 200 and something naira, that it was at the detriment of our financial status. It was at the detriment of our internally generated revenue yearly. While he removed subsidy so that the country could grow better, the economy was still going down drastically. We could see different ministries implementing different tactics just for the betterment of the country, and the FCT ministry wasn't left behind. And in January, the FCT minister Wike came out to say, okay, he is putting taxes, he's levying various schools, the private schools and government schools in the FCT. And now we are looking into the private school angle. He's saying that these private schools in the FCT are to pay an annual 5% tax. While he said that the different private schools, their union, they've come out to complain that this is having a very detrimental effect on them, and the conditions attached to incurring this 5% tax is a wholesome one. They are saying that while each for this tax to be levied on each school, that it is dependent on two reasons. One of the reasons which are that percent tax is dependent on the sum of amount that each the tuition fee for each student per term, while the other one, on the other hand, is that it is dependent on how many children are registered in that school. So let's say a school, a small private school, that's a small primary school that has over, let's say 100 students, that has 100 students, and they are paying 100,000, and that is to say their tax every month would be around 1 million. Now these people, these private sectors, these private school leaders, they are coming out to complain that this thing does not have a good effect on them. Remember that they are just a minor private individuals. They come out to, okay, for the betterment of the society, that they have even written a letter to the FCT minister. They've written to the education board of the FCT to look into this situation and how it is affecting them, while no response has been given to them. While no response has been given to them, we could see this same thing is happening at the angle of the tertiary level. We could see that the presidency enacted a law that allows university students to borrow loan of at least 500,000 naira, 300,000, 200,000, depending on the kind of school that they attend, regardless of if they are able to pay these fees. Now these people are saying that this effect is too much, this 5% is too much, that they should reduce it to at least 1 or 2%, that most of them do not run a high standard, a high quality school. Most of these schools, most of these private schools, we know that they are not meeting up to international standard, especially in the FCT. That then they are even complaining, like Rukayat Agbola said. She said that after everything that was complained to the FCT minister, after the letter directed to the education board of the FCT, that no replies, nothing was done about it, and that it seems that the 5% tax annually still stands. She was complaining that these private schools in the FCT, she's not talking about other schools in other regions. She's particularly focusing on these schools in the FCT, that they do not receive relief materials, they do not receive support, they do not receive books, financial aids to their schools, and that that Nigeria makes provision for education for Nigerian school students, and that we should remember that private school students are part of Nigerian students, and why they do not receive these supports, these helps in their laboratories, books, classroom maintenance, and all what's not that they are supposed to receive, that they are being taxed, they are being levied to pay 5% tax annually, while these federal government schools and state government schools that do receive these supports are not paying that same amount. While she's not trying to make comparison between the federal government, state government, and the private schools, she's trying to make the plight known that it is so tough on them. And my honest opinion on this is that the federal government, while you want these persons to pay tax as regards because they are making profit from these schools, why you want them to pay tax, I feel like you should make an in-depth analysis as go into these schools, know their capacities, know their capabilities, know the number of wards and students that attend these schools, know the amount of school fees that they charge per term, know their the debts they incur, know the profits they incur, and know the expenditures that they make every term. Because you cannot build a private school that earns almost over 100 million, and you cannot build the same amount to a private school that makes over less than $1 million in a year. So while the federal government is making it possible to generate different kinds of revenue for the betterment of the country, they should also consider these wards, these children, these persons, because if you build most of these schools and they are unable to meet up to this demand, they are unable to meet up to these annual taxes, they would have no other choice than to fold up. And if they fold up, it will affect these students going to school. If we are having 10 schools in the FCT, and 8 schools are unable to meet up to these demands, if 8 schools fold up, how many of these children that were attending in this school, how many of them would then switch to another school? How many of these remaining schools will be able to contain this number of students? Please, the federal government should look into this situation. Please, the federal government should give them listening ears. They are Nigerians, they have rights to speak out, and they have right to have allocations that other schools, other federal and state government schools are having. And please, the federal government should also, while you make plans, while you make decisions, please look in-depthly into these situations. Let's deviate a little bit and look into this. Student loan bill that was passed by the presidency just recently. We could see that they are giving allocation to school students to have at least 200 to 300 to 500,000 naira per semester, without even scrutinizing these students to know if they have a viable source of income to pay back, and to know if they would end up, if they are worthy to have these, if they have worthy student loan bill. We could see that an allocation was given that students could take loans from the federal government so that they would not be recording a high number of dropouts. While this is a very good one, the issue now is how then do these students repay these loans? If 80% of school students in every varsity take this loan, how then do they repay even after they graduate? And how sure are you that these persons are academically qualified? How sure are you that these persons are academically qualified to finish through school? And if these persons do not, let's say they drop out after 200 to 300 level, 300 academic section, how then are they to repay this loan? Same thing is applicable now in this 5% tax that is given to these private schools in the FCT. While you are demanding this amount from these private schools, you are not looking into the wards, looking into the parents of these children. You don't know if they are capable of paying school fees. I've seen situations whereby parents will come to the school and complain that they don't have money to pay school fees for their wards, even for 2, 3, 4 terms, and there are 3 terms in a year. If let's say 40 to 50% of these wards are not able to pay the school fees of their students, their children in these schools. Would these private schools pay from their own account, pay this annual taxes, seeing how the country is, seeing how the economic and financial crisis we are going to? So I'm urging the federal government to please look into this situation, and this is where we draw our curtains for today. And if you have anything, any suggestion, any advice for the federal government, please slide to our comment section and drop your comments. This has been the newspaper review here on TAP TV. My name is Obed Jerry, your co-host for today. See you.